I'm Jacob Hornberger, Libertarian candidate for president. As I've long stated, America's immigration control system is part of the death machine that the federal government has become with the full support of both Democrats and Republicans. It's a socialist system. It's based on the socialist principle of central planning, and so it shouldn't surprise anybody that it has come with perpetual crisis and chaos along the border. That's what socialism produces. But socialism also produces death. And so ever since its inception, we've seen the deaths of immigrants drowning in the Rio Grande, or dying of thirst in the American Southwest, or of asphyxiation in the backs of 18-wheelers, being shot by Border Patrol agents. And now we learn that there's a different dimension that's taking place here. On April 13th of this year, a neurosurgeon named Alexander Tenorio wrote an op-ed that was published in the Los Angeles Times detailing the large number of immigrants that are suffering life-changing damages, like to their spinal cord, from having fallen from Donald Trump's Berlin Wall because it's so high. Dr. Tenorio writes, "The wall in San Diego was completed in 2019. Since then, there have been a record number of traumatic spinal injuries sustained in border falls. The Mexican consulate recently noted that 646 Mexican nationals were hurt or killed crossing the border from 2020 to 2022, saying the main cause of injury, quote, was wall-related." And that's not the only thing. There's also the economic aspect to this. Dr. Tenorio continues, "The cost of caring for each patient injured while crossing the border has increased by 70% since 2020. Our hospital systems, already strained by the COVID-19 pandemic, are now facing a rash of border wall injuries." And Dr. Tenorio talks about a young immigrant that suffered one of these injuries to his spinal cord, and while he's lying there, the doctors explain to him that he's going to need surgery. And the young man tears up and says, "How am I going to take care of my family?" And he told the doctor that he left his home country because he was facing the threat of death there and was coming to the United States to get a job to help out his family. This is the wall that Donald Trump wants to expand. That's why he's seeking the presidency once again. His main competitor, Ron DeSantis, he wants to do the same thing. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if DeSantis wanted to make the wall even higher than it already is. And President Biden has had 3 years to destroy this wall, and he hasn't done it. That's because they're all on the same page of supporting this socialist immigration control system and the Berlin Wall and the culture of crisis, chaos, and death and injuries that come with it. There is only one solution to this perpetual crisis. There is no other. There is no comprehensive immigration control system that can make socialism work. We all have to just acknowledge that. There's only one solution to this, and that's the libertarian solution of economic liberty, free markets, limited government, and open borders, the free movements of goods, services, and people across the border. This was our heritage. Open immigration was our heritage as a nation for more than 100 years. There were no deaths or injuries from the Berlin Wall along the border during that period of time. There was no chaos or crisis because there was no Berlin Wall and there was no immigration socialism. Open borders is the only solution to this. There is none other. It would bring an end to the death and suffering and crisis and chaos. It is the only system that is consistent with life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is the only system that is consistent with economic, moral, and religious principles. I'm Jacob Hornberger, Libertarian candidate for president in 2024. My campaign website is jacobforliberty.com.